Well, good morning and welcome to Tyler, Texas and the Bass Pro Shops for the Texas Team Trail Championship presented by Progressive. It's going to be an exciting day, Justin. We're going to see a lot of big fish caught, hopefully. Yesterday was amazing. 5 limits over 30 pounds.
That was super impressive. You know, we saw a couple big fish get caught yesterday on live, and we were not expecting the weights to be that good. We're thinking insane. Upper 50s, maybe 60 pounds to win this thing. But it's going to take over 60.
I agree. It's definitely going to take over 60. A lot of things going on today. We're going to crown our season champion here. We're at the championship. We're also going to crown our Team of the Year winner in the Progressive race. And ironically, Austin Rose and Hayden Marshall are right now sitting 1-1 in both of those.
Yeah, they are. They definitely did their job yesterday, you know, bringing in 36 pounds, leading the tournament, leading Team of the Year. You know, the other team, they left the door open a little bit. Still had a good bag, 25 pounds and some change, but they definitely moved back to second place. So anything could happen today.
It really can. I was very impressed with Evan and Drake. They were, 11, 12 pounds when we left them on live yesterday, and then walk across with nearly 26 pounds, and they climbed into the top 10 in the overall standings. They're sitting in 9th. So what we've got is about 3 or 4 places different, and it's 2 points for each place at this event. So the Team of the Year, wide open, no doubt. And I believe that the event itself is obviously wide open. I'm looking at the results right here. 5th place at 31 pounds 9 ounces. That's Austin Miles and Darren Longoria. First is 36.10. So you got a lot of boats stacked in there, and there's a lot of teams in those upper 20, mid 20s, but there's so many teams stacked in there. It's going to be hard to make up ground. Somebody in that top 10 is going to catch them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it could definitely flip-flop like we talked about yesterday. You know, guys having 30 may only have 15 today, and guys that had 15 yesterday could have 30 today. So you never know what might happen.
It can be definitely wide open in a tournament like this. We just got a report that Austin and Hayden have caught their first keeper. It was about a 2.5 pounder. Saw it on live. They've seen some schooling. They're moving around a lot. We've got another camera with Brandon Cole and Davion Spiegler. And they really had a lot of excitement yesterday. They were really motivated coming off the water, and they fish with a lot of energy anyway. They're going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like we saw them around some docks. You know, right there on that live shot, we can see their Garmin live scope and see some dock poles in the background there. So it seems like that they're targeting some docks that have some bigger fish on them. Not sure if they caught them that way yesterday, but it appears so if they're starting to start like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams seem to catch fish all day long. There was definitely a flurry late in the afternoon. We're expecting that as well. We're going to be live for several hours today. We've got trackers out with other teams that we're going to hopefully pick up midday for an additional amount of live coverage. We're going to also stream the weigh-in today on the Texas Team Trail website. You can also keep up with all the action on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We've got a lot of places this feed is going out, and people will hopefully see some of those fish.
Happy memories just come easier on the water.
Let's see who we're going to pick up that. We've got a 2-shot right now with both teams trying to see what kind of action that we can get. It looks like to me Austin and Hayden are back up where they were yesterday.
Yeah.
I think that's their second keeper.
And we got to check on him, keep our eyes on him. If he even acts funny, we're going to throw him back. $285. That is how you want them all to be built right there. Just maybe a little bit bigger.
So you heard him make that comment, if he acts funny.
He needs a gun. We're going to get rid of him right now.
Throw him back.
Yeah.
Okay. Throw this
Where's
fish back.
all the cold tags?
They're in that left side, or they're in the driver's side.
First fish that they caught.
I believe so.
Well, maybe he's not a gunner. He's just...
Throw him back. If you think, throw him back.
Well, I didn't realize you had a clip on him. I thought he was just sitting there.
If he's not running around in that live well, you probably ought to throw him back.
Well, he's doing all right at the moment.
Okay, we'll just watch him.
We'll just
So
check
their
on every
concern
2-3
right now
minutes.
is that fish might die in their live well. And tournament rules, if that fish dies, they cannot cull that fish. So being only a 2-pounder, 2 1/4 pounder, if that fish dies, they have to bring that fish back to the scales. And that could leave a lot of meat on the bone, you know, especially if they're trying to get back to that 30 plus pound mark. They may catch a 5-pounder and couldn't even put in live well because they got a dead 2-pounder. So they don't even want to chance it. You know, if that fish was 4, 5, 6 pounds, you would chance it, right? But being just a small keeper, there's no sense in chancing. So they're going to keep on that fish. If it starts to try to belly up on them, they're going to release it. You know, and it has to be alive in order for them to release it. So
yeah, they had a great morning yesterday. They actually had a limit pretty quick, even before we went live. So I think this is about the start we would expect. We heard a lot of the other teams definitely say they were catching them later. Weather seems to me to be a little different. Yesterday we had some chop on the water. Right now it looks pretty calm. I know out west of Tyler, the anglers are fishing on Lake Palestine, which is about 20 minutes away from where we are here at the Bass Pro Shop store. There's some pretty good storms that have come through Dallas, worked their way east. I hope they miss us. Each minute they seem to be taking the chance of rain out, and maybe we'll get lucky and the anglers won't have to deal with it. You and I are going to be pretty dry where we're at.
we're going to be nice and dry here in the Bass Pro Shops. Yeah, they're definitely back down by the dam where they made hay yesterday. We saw them catch that big 9-pounder, and then unfortunately we had some little camera issues and we missed a couple of the big ones, but they're definitely in the same areas and picking right up where they left off.
Yeah. The camera teams were telling me that Evan and Drake, who were leading the team of the year that we spent the day with yesterday, who ended up with 25-12 on Palestine yesterday, they were actually hitting some of the same spots. The drone was flying back and forth, and so they don't realize they're probably in the same rotations on a few spots. But that happens in tournament fishing. Sometimes it's about the rotation, who gets the right brush pile, the right piling on the dock, or hits the right point.
Like a bunch of shad come out and then something blow up on them. I don't know what it is. I'm just something to think about anyway. And that's the same spot they did earlier.
Catfish.
Want to smoke it?
Oh yeah, they run up there. They run up there and trash it. They don't ever eat this 7.
Austin actually just recently competed in the All-American. He just came off of that. I talked to him before he went. He was pretty excited. Talked to him after it. He had it figured out. He just didn't connect with a lot of the fish there. But, you know, that's a very tough tournament just to qualify for.
Absolutely.
And Evan and Evan have been a very formidable team all year long.
You're allowed to catch them now.
Look at that fish.
Yep.
You can tell he's a little bit worried.
She's eating relatively on her side. Throw her back.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Huh?
I said, I'm with you. All right, this is something that's really dumb that we're doing here. We ain't got 5 bass, we've got 2. But this one got tongue hooked. Okay. She's looking good, but we don't even want to take a chance on her. So, well, might not be looking good now. She didn't want to go back swimming.
Let me see her. Yeah, she's already changing colors. Trying to.
Yeah.
Okay. I was worried there for a second. That fish was on a blue ball, blue cold tag.
We had 2.
Now we put the blue one on the second one.
You know, she got tongue hooked, so we didn't want to play that game today, especially not this early on a small one. So, you know, that could come back and haunt us today. But we'd rather not start in a bad way than just give it a little bit. We'll catch them. We're not in any rush. Yesterday it happened quick, but we know it's not normal Palestine, so we're going to get after them.
That fish has a much better chance to survive now.
Absolutely.
And that's all of these anglers really take conservation. They take fish care very much importance to all of them. They put G-juice in there. They're icing it. A lot of guys have oxygen in their live well this time of the year. They are penalized if they bring in a dead fish, and they cannot, as you pointed out earlier, they cannot cull it. So it's really important to take care of the resource. And all of these anglers, that's what they want to do. Now we're seeing Brandon and Davion there. It looks like targeting around a bridge. This is something we didn't see yesterday.
So it seems like anywhere you go, there's always big fish hanging around a bridge.
Eating crappie.
Yep, eating those big crappie. You got the crawdads and the rocks and everything.
It's hard to pass a bridge. These two have a lot of energy. They fish fun. You see them on other events that we've done talking. You follow Davion's social media channels. You can really tell he's excited all the time. He's always smiling when you see him at the weigh-ins, at the registrations. Hopefully they can fish with that same feeling today, because a lot of nerves can creep in a championship day with this much on the line.
Looks like Davion's got that famous urchin bait on.
We're going to talk about those a little bit more today. Here at Bass Pro Shops, the XBS brands, they've got theirs coming out. We've got a couple of them on the table right here. I know everybody's excited. It's such a versatile bait. Looks like a ball of moss, looks like something, but with all those tentacles, if you think about it, a bluegill or a shad or whatever, there's things moving on their gills are flaring, their fins are moving, and maybe all this time we've tried to mimic that, and maybe we needed more shimmy and shake in it. I'm not sure, but it definitely has some shimmy and shake, and the fish really like it.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I won't ask too many questions.
I don't know.
As long as they bite it, I'll throw it.
I used to talk in absolutes. I thought I knew everything when I was younger. I said, oh, this is how I can. No, I've realized now, live in the moment, and if the fish wants to eat it, I want to set the hook.
That's right.
That's what we're out here for, to have fun and set the hook. And if you make a little money in a fishing tournament, that's even better. We may lose their coverage and get under that bridge. I think we just did a little bit. Starlink and cell coverage, as we all know, we lose that in there. We're going to switch it back over to Austin and Hayden. They're still on that same stretch. It'd be hard for me to leave that stretch after what I caught there yesterday.
Yeah.
Rods with a big worm on it.
Oh, yeah. It's a big fish catching machine right there.
Definitely a bait that you want to put. And one of the things we talked about, and a lot of the anglers talked about, is as well at the registration dinner, how is Palestine going to hold up to the pressure? How are the anglers going to hold up to the pressure? But, there was a lot of fish caught yesterday. Everything was jerked on, and will it replenish? This time of the year, it's not, it's not necessary. It's about pieces of structure, so it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on what you think.
Yeah, especially this time of year, like you said, it's a lot of structure fishing, and those fish are sitting on that individual piece of structure. They're individual fish. So if you go in and you catch those fish today, they're not going to be there tomorrow to go back and catch. So you got to hope that maybe a new fish pulls in on that structure, or you have to go find some new structure that have new fish they haven't caught. So that's the process that you have to run through today.
That might not be right.
Running new water could play a big role in today's results based for some of these anglers.
Yeah, absolutely. think with Austin and Hayden, they're not fishing quite as much individual structure as some of these other teams that we saw have been. They're kind of filtering around that dam down there on Lake Palestine and targeting more fish that may be swimming around looking for the next structure that they want to be on. We heard them talk about they come up schooling earlier, so those fish may be chasing more bait than those fish that are sitting on docks just waiting the bait to come to them.
Palestine is really a fairly narrow lake. But if you look at the data, the widest place is only 4 miles. You look at 25,000 acres roughly, a lot of docks, but a lot of those have been hit. These guys are so good, your electronics are so good, your mapping's so good. There's not a lot of secrets out there anymore, and so covering a lot of that water may change this up tremendously. I'm still shocked that we haven't seen much up in the really, really shallow end of the lake.
I think the wind's picking up a little bit over there around Brandon Davion. And when we left Austin and Hayden yesterday, they had around 30, 31 pounds. So they made a couple crucial culls later in the day. And actually, they weighed in early.
They weighed in about noon, 12:30.
Yeah. So it wasn't too long after we left them that they caught a couple more big ones. Yeah. And then wanted to put it on a trailer and get them weighed in as quickly as possible, because they had some big ones. They didn't want them to die. And they had that big 9-pounder, so they played it safe, knew it had a really big bag, and it was going to be hard to upgrade.
They weighed in the middle of the Future Legends.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it was pretty exciting. You had all the little kids out there catching bluegill, and then all of a sudden here comes these guys, and it's an exciting moment around the store and in the parking lot. It'll be exciting this afternoon when everybody comes in. The weigh-in will start around 3 o'clock. I imagine we'll go live before then. There's going to be some teams coming in early. So if you're in the Tyler, Texas area, be sure and stop by. A lot of great sales, a lot of things going on, food trucks happening out there, a lot of displays. And you can also, for our fans that are a long way away, want to watch this, you'll be able to watch it on Facebook, Instagram, and of course the Texas Stream Trail website, which is texastreamtrail.com. It'll be live there, and a lot of prizes going to be given away today. Well over $200,000 will be probably paid out by the time all the contingencies and all the boats and everything else. That's amazing for a team tournament.
It really is.
It was an interesting shot of the live scope on Davion's boat a while ago under those bridge pines. You see that big one under there?
Yeah, sitting right up underneath that big, whatever that be, the pylon that's underneath the water that's connecting the two.
They're kind of going back in that area. I'd like to see whatever it is caught. I don't care if it's a 50-pound catfish. Let's see that line get stretched. They definitely are hunting in there.
I feel like if these boys catch a big one, it might get pretty exciting on that boat.
There's no telling what we're going to see. I was watching Davion on another boat in the Ray Roberts coverage. We were with our A&M boys, and you could see him in the background. He was catching them, and he was having so much fun. And that's what it should be. When you come across the stage, you should smile as big as him. You shouldn't have a frown, and whether you got 3 pounds or 30 pounds. And that kid is always smiling. Him and his partner, they just got a lot of energy and a lot of fun.
It's different today over here. We may need to go run that deal and then just kind of come back over here for just a second if we feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like something else kind of feels like it's not happening. You know, you can't make them do it.
The wheels are spinning for those guys already.
Yeah, you didn't hear that yesterday. You never heard that. Looks like a boat, a little bit about a couple hundred yards. The guy could be crappie fishing for all we know, but I do see another.
There's nothing over here. Like this morning off that deal, it was like, here there's nothing.
This is that, when you already had a limit yesterday and you quit fishing at 12 as well, your mind can spin in this. You had a lot of time to think about. Not saying that that's what's going on, not even saying that's what's in their mind, but he's confidently making some talk about there's nothing there, and that's, they may be moving to the other end where they've got some other fish.
Well, it just might not happen.
They're looking around more today.
They definitely are. What was that? Did you see that? A mink or an otter? What the heck?
Yeah.
Them things are wicked. We got some good camouflage.
Yeah.
You never see that sucker if he wasn't moving.
Yeah, but these guys, they're super talented. They're here for a reason, and it's all trusting their instincts and what they need to do. So when they feel like they need to make a move, we're going to see them make a move, and hopefully it works out for them. And I'm sure we will see this spot again before the end of the day.
It'd be hard not to come back and visit with them. I mean, there's a reason they're leading the Texas Team Trail Team of the Year standings presented by Progressive. It's because they've had a great year and they've got them everywhere they've gone. And it's not surprising to see them at the top of the leaderboard on both of those. So it would be very exciting to see somebody win the championship and the Team of the Year. That would be the culmination of a great year. Regardless of how the chips fall, they've had a great year.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Picked up top water.
Yeah, it's not.
No. All right, sure. Try 'em one more time. Because it would be like a 12-pounder.
It may be that big.
One more time.
It may be.
I think he just turned in the way he was swimming.
I do too, but I just wanted to, at least say we backed it up after he moved like that. It was like, well. You know what's crazy? You ain't like caught like a white bass or anything on that. Like nothing, not even like a bump. I just can't believe how dead this is. Hey John, we're gonna get to that outside of that buoy and we're gonna run across, I think.
Sounds like they may be making a move across.
What about these little ones?
The camera guy in the back of the boat. He's been with them several times, and that area was definitely key for them. And yesterday we saw him catch one around 9 pounds in that exact same spot. Let's take a look back at that fish because it was pretty exciting.
Wow. And it come off in the net. You see that?
That is a tank of a Texas bass from Lake Palestine. That was really what kind of spurred them on. That was their first big cull, and then it just went crazy from there from them. I think they were opening that live well.
Wow, look at that. Just beast of a fish. Beautiful Texas bass. You know, what's interesting about that fish catch, too, is he made the comment that fish actually come up on his jerkbait, fouled the hooks up when it kind of swiped at it, and he didn't get that fish. And they kept going, and then his partner was like, man, we should turn around and go try to catch that fish again. And he was like, I don't know about it. He's like, let's do it. Talked him into it. They turned around, found that fish again, threw on it, and caught it. So just teamwork right there to convince your partner to go back on a fish. And that happens a lot. You know, you miss a fish on a certain individual piece of structure, a dock, a laydown, or something like that. You can always go back there and have an opportunity to catch that fish again. I've done it multiple times on tour, and to see it happen for these guys with a 9-pounder at Lake, I mean, come on. It doesn't get any better than that.
Certainly created a lot of momentum for them. And I talked to Austin at the weigh-in a little bit. You know, like I said earlier, they came in and weighed in around a little after 12, but he said it was as big a goat rope as it looked like. They were over each other, and then, you know, him diving in there. It was a lot of fun to watch. Those types of fish catches will never get old.
At all. And it could happen fast, you know. Not too long after that, they caught the 6, they caught the 5, and I talked to Evan and Drake in the bag line yesterday. And, you know, like you said, they were struggling a little bit. We saw them catch one good one. They only had 12, 13 pounds. And the camera got out of their boat to go find somebody else. And they said as soon as the camera got out of the boat, they had a 6 and 2 5s in the bottom of the boat like that. So, it can happen so quick.
Yeah, all the way down to the last cast.
That's right.
Brandon and Davion have been zipping in and out of this bridge, so we've had some connectivity issues due to that with our Starlink. But right now they're on the outside edge making some casts, and maybe we'll get to see them for a little bit. They obviously have a lot of confidence in this pattern because they've been in this same area for a considerable amount of time.
This is a new technique that I don't think I've ever seen. Got the sit-down seat on the front with the seat closed, and we're going to sit on top of the seat there. Davion's using that. So that's a new technique. I might have to try that.
I like being comfortable.
That's right.
I like being comfortable. That's definitely right in my planning.
Yeah, if he starts reeling in 5, 6, 7 pounders, you're going to see me on the Bass Pro Tour just like that right there.
Comfort goes a long way. When they were Gentry, the cameraman, them sent me some pictures of him. He had his Kentucky Fried Chicken hat on, which is pretty hilarious to look at. Hopefully, we'll get to see that here in a little while. He was having fun right at takeoff. It sounded like he may have been having a little motor problem yesterday because he was concerned about being able to get his boat up on pad and be able to run around. So hopefully that doesn't impact him today. So it's always bad when mechanical problems slow you down.
We've all been there, you know, in contention or, you know, a big event and something happens that might hinder you being able to catch what you really catch. So it happens, unfortunately, but hopefully it doesn't keep them from you know, not catching some big ones and pulling this thing in.
Looks like Austin Hayden are back on that same stretch, too. We saw them on casting a little bit up on the bank. Like they were, as you talked about yesterday, targeting some laydowns, just casting the rocks, whatever type of cover they can see.
Yeah, they've definitely been versatile yesterday, and we're seeing today, moving around a little bit, targeting different types of structure, a bunch of different baits that they're rotating through. So they're staying flexible, and they're just trying to figure out what's going to work today.
I think Davion and I have the same kind of hairstyle at times, except he makes his look that good. Mine just naturally pops out of my visor that way every now and then. I know when I leave the house, sometimes my wife's like, "What? Brush your hair away."
Come on now.
Davion, he's doing it with style.
That's
mine is just crazy old man wind hair.
Take off.
For all you fishing fans that want to see some of the action, everything is on the Texas Team Trail website, TexasTeamTrail.com. You can go there and you can watch yesterday's weigh-in. It's archived. You'll also be able to watch the live action we had yesterday. See some of those giant fish catches. We were live for quite a few hours yesterday. We also covered the Future Legends event that we had here.
Set on anything, like kind of the old timers will tell you, bass don't have eyelids, so when that sun gets out and the bait stops moving, they'll go set up on some and get out of that sun and chill. That's why you see a lot of them getting brush piles. Our deal isn't brush piles. They'll get on these pilings to get out the sun, and that's how we're gonna have to get it done. But I mean, just a little bit of sun helps. It doesn't have to be beaming hot.
There it is.
Yeah. I think we ran back to the first guy.
Huh?
I think we ran back to the first guy. Come back here. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Like they're gonna make a move.
Step back.
Yeah, it should be real quiet.
Must have swam out and moved pretty quick. He went right back in there.
There you go.
I think we're having a little bit of Starlink internet connectivity issue right now between there.
You know what she acted like?
Technology's great,
What?
but it's not perfect.
Her release
Not at all.
pass.
Yeah.
It's exactly
At least we
what she
didn't
acted like.
miss a 9-pounder because they'd be putting it in the live well right now.
She did not seem enthused about whatever I was doing. We should catch one right here. Stop up there.
Yeah. I need to get on this thing. Oh, yesterday.
Oh. One pitch up there. There's a whole group.
Pitch up there. Oh.
Hey, real talk though. Quite possibly might get out a swimmer and pitch it to get a limit, and might catch bacon on it, like a 3.5 or something.
Come out of there.
Got it. Check it.
Yeah.
We just heard him say you may want to pick up a little swim bait, just to start getting some bites. You can hear the wheels starting to spin on these guys, wanting to put some fish in the boat, because that definitely calms you down throughout the day. He's probably going to put on.
I'm just switching some stuff around, trying some new techniques out to see if we can grab us a limit right quick, so that way we ain't got to worry about that. Generally, we only fish to catch 5 big ones, but it's already seeming like it's going to be a lot tougher today. So we're just going to keep grinding around.
Yeah, looks like he's going to put on a little ball head, put a swim bait on there like a Bass Pro Shops speed shad, something with a paddle tail that just, it gets a bunch of bites. You got like a 2.8 or a 3.8. It's going to get a lot of bites no matter where you're at, no matter what time of year.
Yeah, I'm on a downsize as well.
Do what?
I said I'm on a downsize as well. Can you hear me? That one back here.
And he mentioned that it might be a lot tougher today. That could be a pressure deal. Obviously, with this size of lake, 2 days of practice, now a day of tournament in the books. Usually on day 2 on a smaller lake, it can get a lot tougher.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot tougher for them. But I mean, little baits catch big fish too. So I mean, you see Austin and Hayden downsizing a little bit right now on some baits. By this time yesterday, they had a small limit, but I mean, every one of those fish were cold. So, and several of the teams, had talked about not even getting out of bed till 8 o'clock to go practice in most of their bites. And I think we saw a lot of that proved yesterday. And the sun did come out yesterday afternoon. And Davion's talking about how that set his fish up a little better for him. We've still got a decent chance of some thunderstorms and rain around up to about 9 o'clock. And then the rain chances really go out. I don't know about the sun showing up to help them up. But this isn't something any of us have not seen in tournament fishing several times. Fish change, you have to adjust, and everybody's going to have to adjust to find success today. I'm not. These guys are going to catch them.
Tim, pitch on. Well, he should blow up on it. That was nice. You don't think there's one up there hiding, do you? Look up there. You know what else is weird about today? Water looks a little tiny bit more dingy and higher. Notice that?
Yeah, it does look
It's
like
got trash. It's got trash all in it. It's definitely up. More than it was. Right here.
One of the unique things about a team tournament is you got somebody else to bounce ideas off. When you're fishing the tier the way you are, all you have is that little devil on your shoulder and the angel on the other one telling you which one to do and what not to do. A good team works together.
Yeah, absolutely. With a team like this, they fish together many a time. So they work well together. They understand how each other's thought process is going to work throughout the day. And you're hearing it. They're bouncing ideas off each other. Maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try that. I think we need to go over here. So, that's the problem with sometimes running a team tournament with guys that you may not be super comfortable with, is you don't want to speak out. Maybe you have a thought, but you're like, he probably doesn't want to do that, so I'm not going to say anything. So it's super important to have a team partner, especially in these Texas Team Trail tournaments, that you work well with and can bounce ideas off of, and just utilize each other's strengths to better the team and bring a big bag of fish in.
Probably see a lot different techniques today to catch fish, if the guys adapt. We got a lot of stuff we didn't run yesterday that we think we catch smaller ones off of, but smaller ones ain't gonna win it. There's 5 big ones in here that are still willing to bite. We just got to find them. We will.
Love that confidence.
That's right. let me know when you come up on them waypoints.
Okay.
Because
we talked about it yesterday, how important confidence is in bass fishing.
And it might take 8 times.
You can never be down and out on yourself just because things aren't quite going your way. Because just like yesterday when I talked to Evan,
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not
they had a 6 and 2 valves in the bottom of the boat in a matter of minutes. So that's how quickly it can change. You just have to keep your head in it and always think about when you're going to get that next bite, because it's going to come.
Put a June bug on. I mean, it's that time. If you ain't got none, I got a whole bag back there. I don't know about shaky heads, but
It's good stuff. We saw Austin and Hayden on this bank several times yesterday, kind of working back and forth, covering a lot of water. They're definitely mixing up their baits and the colors, find that secret sauce.
They're doing exactly what they need to do, trying to figure out what's going to be the bait of choice today that's going to get these fish in the boat, because it's bass fishing. It changes day to day.
It changes hour to hour.
That's
for me.
true. You're exactly right. Heard him mention that the water may be a little bit more dingier, maybe up a little bit. You know, we have had a lot of rain in this area, so the water could definitely come up. Heard him mention the color June bug. That's a great color for dirtier water, cloudy days. You know, got that dark purple with that emerald green flake in it. There's been a many a bass caught on the color June bug across this world.
And sometimes it can just be confidence among yourself. You change baits, you get a bite, then you start focusing more, you start fishing that, and amazing those little changes. And when that little instinct inside you, and I don't understand it, but I wish I would listen to it a lot more, but when it talks to you, you need to go do it. You need to trust that instinct.
Absolutely. There's been plenty of times on tour where I've had a thought, you know, running down the lake, you know, hey, you need to pull up on that dock that you're passing. Never even hit it in practice, and I pull up to it and catch a fish that was super important, you know, throughout the day, or pick up a certain lure that's in the box that hadn't even pulled out there in practice. You just got to continue to adapt and listen to your instincts, because I really truly think that separates the good anglers from the great anglers that are able to listen to their instincts and just let the fish tell them what they need to do.
Yeah, we're seeing Austin Hayden pick apart some shallow cover right now. I mean, that's not. We saw them do it a little bit yesterday, but we haven't seen a lot of that. And we've got a bunch of fish catches from yesterday that we're going to spin up here in a little bit as they work their way down the bank. It's a pretty good collection of little videos, and we got a social team out there covering a lot of this. We've got a variety of photographers. We're seeing some big fish that have been caught, were caught yesterday. A lot of this is also on our, look at that fish. That is an amazing catch.
That is. So I believe that's Evan and Drake from yesterday.
Yes. Lake Palestine showed out tremendously yesterday. a lot of this is also on our social channels. It's from a lot of the content for the entire. So they have been killing it this week. A lot of great coverage of everything from the Future Legends event all the way out on the water. They brought us a lot of great action.
They really have. They do great.
Mm-hmm. You can see all that on the Texas Team Trail pages. You can Google Texas Team Trail. You're going to find the website, TxTT.com. You're also going to find the Facebook pages, YouTube pages, archived. If you've got tournaments in Texas coming up, you're going to find an archive list that goes as long as your leg that's going to help you learn how to fish some of these lakes. You're going to learn more about all the different products that you're seeing. I mean, we're sitting here at the Tyler Bass Pro Shops. We can go left or right, find something that's going to help us for an upcoming outdoor adventure. When we had our big banquet in here on Friday night, everybody's tables was covered in beef jerky and nice hats. They were eating, but they'd been in here shopping too. You could tell what the key baits everybody thought was going to catch them because you could peek in their bags, the ones that would show us inside their bags. They had some goodies.
They already put the seeker lures in their truck when they got them.
A lot of them did. I saw. They went from that cash register right out there.
Truck. And then the decoy lures they would bring and put back out on the table, you know.
Fishermen would never do that. Never do that.
We wouldn't do that.
They don't lie. They don't tell stories. They don't fib.
Well, but we can make excuses.
We definitely can make excuses. There was not a lot of excuses yesterday. There was more. The weights were amazing. You go down and you look at the standings here. You know, in 10th place, you're over 25 pounds, 36 to lead this. You had 5 limits over 30 pounds. I mean, this is going to be the shootout. And when you look at some of the names, look at 6th place, James Bonds, Blake Schroeder had great. Chris McCall, Brian Schott, Jim Smith. They've caught them for years, a couple of back-to-back Team of the Years. And there's so many talented, and it's a mix of age classes that I'm seeing here. Some young up-and-coming anglers, as well as some really, really seasoned vets that have some past tour experience, as well as some East Texas hammers. Team of the Year right there. A little bit of sunshine trying to break through over there, but it still looks a lot of clouds in the area. John's kind of taking a wide shot across the lake. Austin and Hayden are still up by the dam.
Stump, a drop. What was that morning?
Nothing, just a bite, I guess. It's the last bite. Spot staring you up, huh? Or brim?
I felt like a brim, yeah. But I like that because you know who could be close to brim. That's Big Mama.
Say they ain't caught any?
One. It was barely a keeper. We should be able to tell up here on this point if it come up or not.
Moving,
just looking for a reaction strike. sure if he's a swim jig or just some type of jig. He's working it through some cover there. That's a versatility with a jig. No matter what shape head, you can drag it around, fish it around some cover, or you can swim it. You know, it doesn't have to be specifically a swim jig to swim a jig. You can swim a football jig if you needed to in the right scenario. So that's the good thing about a jig, and it catches some big fish.
He's keeping his bait in some productive water, what he believes is productive water. There's not a lot of wasted motion. He's making his cast. When he hits what he's looking, he's reeling it in, making another one.
Yeah. 7-pounder right there.
There goes. There's a good sign when you see a herring sitting up there.
Definitely.
He's up there eating, and there's other things he's trying to eat are up there too. Old Ichabod will point it out.
He fishes to live. We live to fish.
That's exactly right.
Come on, fish.
We'd like to bring y'all some cover of Brandon Cole and Davion Spiller, but they are still up under the bridges, kind of weaving in and out, and Starlink just doesn't give you the capability to, once you get that line of sight blocked, we've lost their signal. So we'll get an update on how many they've got, and we expect to see how they're doing later
breeze
on.
gonna help.
My question for you right now, do you think we're going to get a delivery of donuts again today?
I was just thinking the
Or
same
kolache.
exact thing. I hope we do.
I do too. That was definitely a pick-me-up. Since I can't fish today and I have to watch fishing, it's kind of like a chocolate donut.
That's right.
Kevin over there, he's running the switcher. He likes, a cream filled. I think kind of like Eric yesterday, he was really into the jalapeno kolaches. What was your favorite?
Let me tell you, that jalapeno kolache
Those are hard to
probably
beat.
the star of the show.
Shipley's took care of us yesterday, and Miss Lauren did, going and picking them up. So that's not a hint.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not real picky on a donut or a kolache. I'll take it any way I can get it.
I like the chocolate, but apple fritters are good. Apple fritters are good. They're not good for us, but boy, they sure are tasty.
Now that I got 2 kids, I'm really working on my father figure, So a little extra donut here and there.
It doesn't hurt.
It just helps.
You have a reason to eat candy again, and it's okay.
Yep.
We're going to ride after this cast.
Okay. Kevin.
Sounds like they're about to make another move there.
We got an update on Brandon and Davion. They're still on 0, but they are pretty committed, it sounds like, to that bridge.
Let's do it.
Sound like that's where they caught most of their big ones yesterday. So if they want to win this thing, they know they have to be around big ones in order to catch big ones. So they're going to stick to their guns for a while and fish around that bridge, and hopefully they start to bite. Maybe in the later day is when it happened for those guys. We're not really sure, but if it did, they got a lot of time left to make it happen. Those fish can start sitting up better on that bridge. You heard Davion talk about, hopefully that the sun might start peeking through and really position those fish on that bridge in the shade where they need those fish to be to catch them.
Yeah, and What I like is you're seeing a lot of versatility on the water by all the anglers that we covered yesterday and today. They're mixing it up, throwing a lot of different baits, and that's key a lot of times as you cover water, because one bait isn't necessarily going to fish the same. Yep, you can catch that same, but you can catch fish doing a lot of different things, but being versatile. You know, we were going through some baits yesterday. You talked about throwing big 10-inch worms. You talked about different baits, you know, that you can put on the back of a jig. We've got glide baits. We've got swim baits. We've got the urchin bait up here, which has really become a popular bait. And, you know, with all the shimmy, all the shake, the way it falls, it's obviously very enticing to fish.
It really is. It has so much draw power after throwing this thing for a few months now. To watch these fish come off structure and come and look at this bait, it reminds me of a glide bait, honestly, just like we have the swerve right here. You can see these fish react to this bait from a long way away. And that's exactly just the same way with this Search X right here by XPS. That will be available soon. And then it reminds me of a Senko. You know, something that we just pitch around. It has a really slow fall. These tentacles got some vibration, some shimmy and shake to them. And I think it's just that predatory instinct in a bass is what makes it want to bite this. They've never seen anything like it, and just a bass is super opportunistic. If he sees something that he thinks he can eat and it's going to be beneficial for him, he's going to do it. And this just has so much power and has taken the fishing industry by storm lately, and it's catching a lot of fish, and it's catching some really big fish. A lot of tournaments have been won lately on it, and we have seen, you know, several of our teams at the top of the leaderboard are throwing baits that are exactly like this.
It's definitely proven itself to be very successful. And, you know, I've always gone back to, sometimes you're trying to tease a fish like you play with a cat. You know, you throw something out there, you twitch it around, and the cat looks at it, and this is kind of the same thing. It's got a lot of action. My wife even says this is like a cat toy. Yes. And as you throw it, but, you know, rigging it, I've heard a lot of different people with single rigs, treble hooks. What has been your favorite? Because as XPS rolls this out in all the Bass Pro Shops and it starts coming out online, there's going to be a lot of people looking for tips and insight on rigging it.
Yeah, so for me, I've really been on the treble hook deal. So you're just attaching a treble hook that, you know, would go on your favorite crankbait or whatever the case may be. Typically a size 2, a size 1, maybe even a 1/0, depending on how big of an urchin style you're using. And then taking one of those hooks on that treble hook, running it into your bait, and then putting some type of keeper on the outside to keep this from throwing it off of there. And then depending on how deep you're wanting to fish it, it may be a nail weight. You know, you can take a 3/32 nail weight. That's the size that I've been using a lot lately. Or there's also a way that you can rig a drop shot weight onto it with what's called an open-ended swivel. They're hard to find, they're hard to get. I believe VMC makes one right now, and then there's another Japanese company that makes one. But essentially, you just tie your line to the closed-end part of the swivel. That open-ended side of the swivel, you put your hook, put your teardrop weight, you know, your drop shot weight on there, whether it's an 1/8 ounce, a quarter ounce, depending on how deep you're fishing, and then close that open-ended swivel, and then attach your hook to the bait, and then that's your rig. So there's definitely a lot of different ways to do it. You know, there's so many different hooks being made now that have the weight attached to the hook. You know, that's more with your single, bigger flipping hook style baits, where there's actually companies molding lead onto the shank of the hook that goes into the bait. And then, you know, you just tie your line to the hook traditionally with any other hook. But we're still learning with this bait. It is I don't think we have figured out the 100% best way to do it yet, and not even sure if there is. You know, if you have confidence in what you're doing, you know, that, like we've mentioned that a lot, just confidence. If you have confidence in the treble hook way or a single hook way, you're going to put fish in the boat, and you're going to lose fish. It doesn't matter what type of hook you're going to use with this thing. So, but right now I'm running the treble hook game, and maybe I can go get one and show the camera my exact setup so people can visually see. But it's an awesome bait to throw, super successful, and I think we're going to see it stick around. I do not think this is a fad. like other baits that might have hit the market, in the past. Maybe they only hang around for a couple months. I think this is a bait that's going to be around for a long, long time.
Yeah, well, and it's already been around for a long time. When you hear the history, and I've had some really knowledgeable people in this industry tell me this was 20 years ago it was actually released. It just didn't catch on, and now that people are throwing it, and I'm intrigued by it because I've seen guys fishing boat docks, fishing stumps, doing a lot of different things with it to trigger a bite. And when I watch them, it reminds me of throwing a Cinco a lot of times, but with a little bit of fluke twitch in it. They're throwing it out, they're letting it sink on slack line, and then, they're putting some pops in it. What kind of line are you actually rigging it with?
I've been throwing, straight fluorocarbon, bigger line, that 17, 20-pound XPS fluorocarbon, and a lot of times, especially with these bigger urchin style, your 21 millimeters, your 24 millimeters, and that's the size of the ball for people that doesn't know. But typically a bigger rod, a 7.4 heavy, a 7.6 heavy, because this is not a small bait. It's not a small finesse technique. Now there is small finesse urchin style baits that I do rig on a spinning rod, it may be like a 7-foot medium or something like that.
You're trying to drive that hook.
Yep, you're especially if you're using the bigger flipping hook style, you definitely need a big rod to drive the hook in. And I've also played around too, because I've been fishing this bait in some deeper water, 20, 22 feet of water. And the problem is that I'm seeing with running straight fluorocarbon that deep is that the line, fluorocarbon line sinks. And I'm running a 30-second nail weight in this bait because I believe that the slower the fall, the better. Just the same way with a Cinco. If you're Cinco, if you put a weight on your Cinco, wacky rig Cinco, you're not going to get at near as many bites as you do with a weightless wacky Cinco, right? So lighter the better, and this takes a long time to get down there to 20 feet where these fish are sometimes, and what that does is that creates a big bow in that fluorocarbon line because it sinks. I may make a 70-foot cast and it takes 30 seconds to get down there. Now I've got a big bow in my line, and I've felt that feedback in my rod that I'm not getting a good twitch, I'm not getting a really good hook set in these fish because of that bow. So I've actually been running a braid to a fluorocarbon leader to keep that bow because braid floats, right? So I run about a 3-4 foot fluorocarbon leader on some braid, and I've tried that, and the bait responds a lot better, deeper. So that's really good. Your hookup ratio has been a lot better. So when I'm fishing it deeper, I'm liking the braid to a fluorocarbon leader. If I'm fishing when it's shallower, around shallow boat docks, laydowns, that type of deal, I'm still going to go straight fluorocarbon.
Yeah, great tips, great insight on a bait that's really caught a lot of people's attention. It's got a lot of big fasts. We've seen major tournament wins and big sacks on it caught here. Looks like Austin and Hayden have stopped and they're fishing again, and Brandon and Davion have now come out from under the bridge. So let's see if we can't see some fish catches and see how each one of those teams' days has been going.
Pitch this down there.
Good.
It's about 8 o'clock right now. Our teams have been casting, junking, and winding for a little bit of time now. Really about 6:30 was first cast. Been slow. This is that time of the morning that things are starting to creep in their mind, and hopefully the fish will start reacting to their change of plans. Looks brighter now, a lot brighter.
Yeah.
It seemed like yesterday we had a really good feeding window, for about 25, 30 minutes that we saw yesterday, and I believe that was around 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So maybe we'll see that again. We saw Austin catch that really big one, Evan catch that 6-pounder. So things happen in a short amount of time. So I expect some fireworks to start happening before too long.
Fuzzy bomb, giant. Yeah.
Austin,
That one's gonna eat for you.
don't be jinxing me.
No, you got her. Believe.
Man, ain't had to fish with wind in 2 days. Now it's got me jacked up a little bit. Damn tanks. Dude, they cannot see. You're right there where I need
Go
to
ahead.
be.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I know that was a bass.
You know where they at? Go. Deal up here. They ain't here like they was.
No, there ain't hardly jack here.
Yeah, do it right there. Miss short, huh?
Yeah, about 5 foot.
Well, it looks like Brandon and Davian have left the. I love that steering wheel.
That steering wheel right there is a classic.
I'm not. They have left the bridge. I know I cannot pull off the hair, and I can't pull off that steering wheel. But I am way jealous. That's got to be very comfortable.
That right there.
I love that.
That's an upgrade.
That is a major upgrade. I'm loving that. I dig that. It's great they're out from under the bridge. You know, the connectivity to the Starlink has hurt us watching Brandon and Davion a little bit. We're here on Lake Palestine, day 2 of the Texas Team Trail Championship. They had a great day yesterday. Let's listen in to what they're saying.
I know that any cast is that cast, especially when you're hunting these big fish. You're not going to see many of them, but for an event like this, that's what it takes. You're not going to be able to go catch 2-pounders and catch a random 9-pounder with those 2-pounders. You kind of got to devote, you know, your big fish game to your big fish game. You know, the older guys that don't even scope, you know, they're going to throw their big stuff, their big jig, big worms, big crankbaits, you know. So once you devote that, you know, your time and what you want to do to catching a bunch of fish or catching big fish, you kind of just got to stick with it and know that you may not get a bunch of bites. You may get a bunch of bites, but you know, most of the time you're gonna be hunting and it's gonna be bite by bite.
Davion shared with me yesterday he was having some problems with the motor and he's worried about being able to get up on pad. I don't know if that's still impacting him or not, but you can tell they're grinning, they're smiling, they're having fun, and he is committed, you can tell, to the pattern.
Yeah, he is. They know that they are looking for 5 big bites because it's going to take 5 big bites to win this tournament. They put themselves in great position, having 36 pounds yesterday. So they're around the big ones. They know how to catch them, and they're just thinking that it's a matter of time before they start getting bites and putting those big fish in the boat. And they're going to stick to their guns. I don't think we're going to see them on a bank with a wacky rig Cinco at any time. They're going to stick to where these big fish are, throwing big fish baits, and just looking for those 5 big bites.
I was checking the weather forecast. It looks like the rain is kind of past us or almost done now, but it looks cloudy. And I know Davion and his partner Brandon were looking for sunshine, so they may adjust the presentation and the angles a little bit, but you can tell he's back near that bridge.
So that definitely must have been where they caught the majority of their fish yesterday, and that just goes to show that they're sticking with what worked yesterday, and they know that there's some big ones around there.
I'm afraid we'll lose them again as they slide up underneath that bridge.
One thing I noticed on your weather out there, it looked like the wind's going to pick up.
Yeah.
You know, getting that 10, 11, 12, 13 miles per hour as the afternoon progresses. So that could definitely affect some things. You know, definitely with trying to utilize your Garmin Live Scope, it's much harder to try to scope in the wind and scope with the waves effectively as it is, you know, versus right here, you know, just a little bit of a ripple on the water, calm waters.
We heard Austin and Hayden earlier talk about they had not been fishing in the wind all week. I think the boat positioning in all fishing is really important, and one thing that Garmin just recently launched is the spy pole, and that spy pole is going to allow guys like me that don't have the best balance anymore to be able to lock their Garmin Force Pro trolling motor in spot, and then manually control your live scope, control your every type of sonar, however you want to set it up individually. I know you also have it on your boat. And guys that have it, whether you're a crappie fisherman or a bass fisherman, it's been a pretty amazing addition. Throwing a big crankbait.
I'm surprised that's the first time we've seen that, because that's a staple right now this time of year in the post spawn in Texas. It is a big plug. It's probably my favorite thing to throw. I absolutely love catching them on a big crankbait.
We see those big crankbaits and the shallow ones play a lot of roles at the Texas Team Trail. You know, depending on the
There's
stops.
a lot more junk over here today.
Yeah, that's why I was figuring they'd be up here.
Like a lot more junk.
I wonder if he's talking about junk, if it's particles in the water, if he's thinking like junk fish or something like that. We heard him mention earlier that the water seemed a little bit dirtier, dingier, so that's probably what he's talking about. But that can definitely change some things, push the bait around, which is going to push your fish around. So you can tell right now their trolling motor's on a higher level. They're hunting these individual fish that may be on bait or on certain pieces of structure.
No, they're right there on the edge of it.
Covering water quickly.
Crankbait don't discriminate. I mean, they weren't even on this break. They already switched.
So much more bait and stuff. It's crazy. This was like kind of slick yesterday.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
Still early. They're here somewhere. Wherever I was, I want to say I marked it, but
Yeah, it was up there.
okay. Well,
You can see him going back and forth as he's on that trolling motor, looking, because he's got that forward-facing sonar on the shaft of the trolling motor, and he's using the foot to pan back and forth to be able to see with his live scope. But that's one thing with the Garmin spot pole is it actually has a sweeping setting on there to where you can troll in a straight line, and that Garmin spot pole will sweep back and forth for you, and you don't have to do it yourself on the foot of the trolling motor. That's a setting that I have not got to use yet, but I am looking forward to, especially more later in the year, that pre-spawn time, to be able to pull into a drain, into a pocket, and just troll in a straight line and allow that live scope to sweep back and forth for me. And you can set it to how fast you want it to sweep, and the degree you want it to sweep. So you can, do a full 180 or more, a 90-degree sweep. So I look forward to that you're going to be able to cover more ground quicker instead of having to troll back and forth and lose momentum every time you sweep back and forth with your trolling motor. So I look forward to that aspect of the Garmin spy pole.
There's a lot of features within that spy pole. I like the gesture remote. I talk about it a lot. You put it on your rod for crappie fishermen or guys that are targeting brush piles. It's definitely going to make it a little friendlier to use. A lot of guys are still going to put it right on their trolling motor because that's like how they like to fish. But a lot of diversity.
This time of year, and I've used it the past couple weeks, is the spy lock option that you have. That you can spot lock on your Garmin Force trolling motor into the wind, and say you have a brush pile over to your left or your right, you can pan over there with your live scope on the spy pole and actually hit the brush pile, touch it on your screen and hit the spy lock option, and now that spy pole is locked in on that brush pile. No matter which way the wind blows you, it will stay locked on that brush pile, and you're always going to keep eyes on it, so it's going to be easier to make casts over to it, see your bait, while you're in the wind, and you don't have to, fight the wind and try to see your bait in that brush pile at the same time.
Hybrids aren't out here like they were.
Oh, they're only in one spot. I can't believe I ain't seen one.
I don't know why I have a pile marker right here when there's no pile.
There was one somewhere. It was, I think we didn't mark it, we marked where we were sitting.
Like Brandon and Davion are outside the edge of the bridge, and unfortunately we got a recent report that we won't get to see on the streaming, but you'll be able to watch on the final TV show, because all this actually airs on several networks. We archive it on YouTube, and our camera guy got it, but we weren't able to string a 7-pounder for Brandon and Davion now in the live well.
Yeah, that's the bite that they were looking for and that they're hunting for. They have full confidence that they're going to run across 4 more. But a 7-pounder is the right kind. They had 2 or 3 of those in their bag yesterday to be able to have 36.
We got one hooked up right here. And it looks like we just lost him again. They were really, you could see Davion went to his knees. Brandon was running for that net. Obviously a really good fish. But now we're on kind of a delay.
Okay.
We've lost it. So it's the Starlink trying to catch up, basically, in the whole
That might have been the hookup with the 7-pounder potentially.
Yeah, it could have been. Could have been.
Well, we got confirmation that they got it in the boat.
It's in the live well. And that's the bite that you and I were talking about earlier. That gives you confidence. You're trying to get 4 more bites. I go back to grass fishing and dropping years ago in our mind, and we're fishing for 5 bites. I truly believe Brandon and Davion, after talking to them yesterday, they're committed to just trying to get 5 bites. You catch 5 7-pounders, like your chances to be standing on the podium holding that season-ending championship trophy. But we got to remember that we also have the Team of the Year program off to the side. Brandon and Davion, despite having a great year, they're pretty much mathematically eliminated for that, which puts Austin and Hayden still with a chance, because that's kind of a 2-horse race between our teams yesterday. So we've got a lot on the line out here. 2 boats, prizes deep in there, contingency prizes for our Ranger Nitro Triton owners, Garmin contingencies. I mean, you got to go to the website to keep up to all the payout on this, because it's deep. There is a picture, guys. Look at that smile. Both of them. That's so awesome.
That's a beautiful fish right there.
Now, yeah. So Davion caught it, is what we saw in the relay. Brandon netted it for him.
Man.
Yeah, you can see the excitement and energy in the little bit of clip we had running to the back of the boat. Now they're back under the bridge on us again. I'd be under that bridge all day. I wouldn't care if they showed us how they're catching on it, because you're fishing for a boat and trying to win.
No doubt.
That's awesome.
Take it down. I think they're going to be hard to see. Baby, show us where they're at, Lord. Need some help this morning.
For sure.
Huh?
Said for sure. Goer. Yar.
Definitely a little more windy out there right now. It's picking up.
It's starting to pick up a little bit. He just had a gar come up and bite his bait there, and he's going to retie. You know, that's something that I wish I would have done more earlier in my career, is retie more. You know, now I've really learned to do that more, especially if you get hung up in some rocks or have a gar on or a trash fish or something, or retie more frequently after fish catches, you know, because that next bite is super important as the one you just got. So being able to control the controllables. You know, that's the main thing that I try to do. And something like that, being able to retie, you know, maybe if your line has a fray, that's something that you can control. You know, getting that bite and that fish coming off, that's something that you can't really control. So I try not to let things like that get to me. But if I break my line because of something, you know, on a hook set or on a fish because of something that I didn't do, that's something that I could have controlled and could have prevented. So, you know, just control the controllable is something that I've kind of lived by.
I think both of these teams are doing a great job, and many of our teams that we've looked in on this weekend on overcoming the little speed bumps that happen in tournaments. You know, you're going to have motor breakdowns, you're going to have line breaks, you're going to have fish get off, and if you can put that stuff behind you and have fun, just have fun while you're out there, it's going to be a lot better. So, we got a little look from Davion that's just brief in and out when they go under that bridge. And get a peek a lot of time here and there, and they're just weaving in and out. You know, there's a creek channel probably coming in there. You've got a lot of bait. You have shade. You know, they are targeting fish using that for either coming under it, but most likely just staying under that bridge, eating crappie, eating shad, eating whatever crawdads, like you said, and it obviously paid out for them yesterday, and it has paid off so far. You know, you get 4 more bites and you put all of them in the boat. That like the quality that they're catching, it's going to put them in a chance to win. We got a good little look at them right now.
Look at her swimming up on that bait. Because she's already seen my quickie. You ain't getting away, dog. Oh my gosh. Of course.
They're chasing one.
See her still shooting for the
Great shot of the piling.
skirting back to that pole is all she's doing.
We got one opposite interested.
Going straight back to it.
That's so cool. Just learned so much of what I was doing wrong over so long looking at live scope. I mean, how the fish react, how fast the catfish is, we talked that is, how they relate to your bait, how they move.
Like a 10,
yeah,
for sure.
All day. Undoubtedly a 10.
Oh, he's talking about a 10-pounder?
Yeah, just had a 10-pounder come out, and they made the comment that she swam back to that pylon, so that's definitely a pylon that I bet they hit multiple times a day hoping to get her bite.
God damn it.
And that pylon is home to her. So she's going to, even though they follow their bait out, she turned around and she swam right back to the same exact pylon. So she may follow her out again, especially if she does that a couple times, the chance of getting her to bite or diminish greatly. But if you give her a break, come back in 30 minutes, an hour later, maybe that first cast up there, instead of following it, she bites it.
Back up.
Her right there?
Mm-mm. Go to the next one. Dang, bro. We pulled around. I seen her from a good bit of ways. Got a good angle on her, and she did it. She had one bigger with her that I hooked up on for a second. I popped her, and she didn't stay. I think she's probably about 9 or 10. But I mean, she's still swimming around here, so I'm sure we'll run into her at some point again. Maybe give her a little break from seeing a bait, and she'll do it.
Tell me about the one you caught and got in the box.
It was pretty straightforward. I mean, we pulled up, seen her, and she did it. Not too much convincing. She was hungry. I think that with the sun coming out a little bit and having some sun on it now is getting them to rise up and be able to see them and make some casts at them.
fish skirting out. I thought it was.
There ain't gonna be very many
There's a
floats.
fish right here. On the backside. I see it right there. I don't think it's a giant, but maybe 3. There's one skirting out the back that looks bigger.
We in there now.
I see it right there.
I know, I'm saying
Oh.
we in there.
Really good look right there. That may be like the old bridge from the old roadbed that crossed that creek, you know, back in the day before the lake was formed.
She's getting stubborn. The sun would freaking come out.
Really ain't that big.
They're begging for sun. They want that sun to come out and
Dang, I
position
wish
those
I-
fish under that bridge.
I thought she was about to eat this one. She was all
big.
over. Usually when they come out that far, they gonna trowel on it.
I think I might have just messed up not getting on that first go. Well, he nipped it.
Saw that pole, huh? Oh, was she back in the corner?
Back up. That is her. Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's a giant.
That's a 10.
Look at that fish.
Get a look on her.
She's sitting more on the side of it.
Oh, that's me right there. Hold on. Hold on. Back up. Back up. Reel it in. Let's try to make this happen. Oh my God, dude. Woo, we need this one.
Big one right there sitting about
Need them to
halfway
stay away,
down
too.
that pylon.
She's a freak.
Giant.
Right there on the edge of that bait.
Yeah. A little bit of ball of bait right there. out
Dang.
above it.
He got stuck on the call and then came up some. Maybe we should swim out on it and do it.
I believe that's his bait falling.
Wind 70.
Back up. I needed her to feed straight up. Wind should push it a little bit toward it. I don't like that either. I want it straight on it. I want her to turn it straight up and go. Oh,
If it was that easy.
Yeah, it's just not. It is not what
Nope.
people think it is.
Not at all.
Come
Just
on.
because you can see them with that Garmin Live Scope does not mean you can make them
do that.
bite.
Board
I can
fishing
work with that, my
sonar is
friend.
Great, but it's not. Let's just put it on and open our live well, and they jump in there. You learn so much about fish behavior. You learn so much about presentation. And
Come on.
all of the different angles, and you
Oh
hear
my
these
God.
guys how they're
Might be
working in
11
a
or 12.
team and
She's done.
positioning their boat, trying to make
she'll
what
follow it
is
down.
the perfect cast. It's no different than sight fishing. You can see that fish nosing down, looking at it right now.
It is a giant.
It is a
She's had
monster.
enough of it.
Give me a packer one time.
They've got one on each end of
Throw something different on
of
her.
this bridge.
Let's-
Spoon? I don't think a spoon's gonna
No,
work though.
I really want to throw my hair jig and back up on it.
Jerk bait?
Yeah, try it.
Try her on
I
the
don't know
jerk.
if it's going to get that
I
deep.
can try like heck. She's
can get way past it and drag through. But that fish reacted to his bait, that cast there, so that tells you right there that fish is a predator.
Cast
and
heavy meat, like get it close to it.
Some type of bait, whether it be a bass or a catfish, and being that size, that's about the only two options that it could be. But when they get that big, it's pretty easy to be able to tell between a bass and a catfish, because you start seeing separation between the tail and the body on a catfish. Right before you get to the tail of a catfish, it gets really skinny, and you can't really see that on live scope. But with a bass, it's a little bit thicker, so it's one solid object on your live scope versus two what it may appear if it's a catfish.
They are targeting two giants. They're fishing to win, clearly. There's no doubt these guys could probably run around and find 2 and 3 pounders, but I don't think in this tournament, based on the weights, you probably would fall out of check range of what I'm seeing right now. You never know, but there's a great shot again of the bridge. You can see all the pylons, incredible separation. And really what they're doing, they're trying to put their boat into position to make the perfect cast, make the perfect presentation. They're mixing between an urchin-style bait. They're going back to jerk baits, talking about how deep he is. We saw the fish come out from a piling on the urchin and kind of swim down and look at it. But a lot of guys talk about it. If you don't get that bite in that first cast, maybe 3, it gets tougher. We saw them leave a big one down on the other end of the bridge just 10 minutes ago.
I truly believe it's more beneficial that if that fish does not bite within the first 2, maybe 3 casts, you're better off going somewhere else, coming back to her, because the more you cast at her and the more she does not bite, the more you educate that fish. So if you try to cast on it 9 or 10 times and think you're going to come back later and catch that fish, you're probably not going to. But if you only cast at her once or twice without her biting, you come back later, I think your chances of getting that fish to bite are greatly increased versus sitting on that fish longer.
Recreating in the angle that you saw them react or not to, how does that play in your strategy?
Definitely I want to try to recreate whatever I've seen her react to the most. With Garmin Live Scope, we can see that fish react to our bait. So maybe she's a little bit quicker with her motions if I'm popping that bait faster. Or maybe I'm working it slower and she likes that better. So whatever I see her react to the most the first time I cast at her, she might not bite. When I come back to her that second time, that's the first presentation that I'm gonna throw at her. Maybe she was really on that bait when I twitched it really hard. So when I first come up to her, I'm gonna throw that bait on her. She's gonna see it, and I'm gonna start twitching it really hard right off the bat, and hoping then that's gonna trigger her to bite.
We're definitely fishing for some bigs here at the Texas Steam Trail Championship on Lake Palestine. It's day 2. We're in the boat right now with Brandon Cole and Davion Spiller. They are not that far. Basically, they're ahead probably if we looked at where from yesterday, but they were sitting in second place yesterday with their limit, trying to get 4 more big bites, because the one they've got in their live well right now is 7 pounds. It's coming to the weigh-in.
Yeah, we're going to see that fish held up in the parking lot here at Bass Pro Shops, Tyler, for sure, and they're hoping that they can run across 4 more just like her, and if they do, their chances to bring that boat home is going to be really, really good.
Really good. Yeah, we've got a deep payout here at the Texas Steam Trail. You'll be able to follow all of you can see the past results. You'll be able to see our upcoming schedule release and everything on the TxTT.com. 2027 is shaping up to be an incredible opportunity for all the anglers. We've got anglers that travel from numerous states to come compete on this trail because of the payout, and guys that are looking for a boat, Ranger, Nitro, Triton. If you go out and buy a model boat, a brand new one, you're going to get a free entry into the 2027 season. Just, contact us, get in touch with everybody. The next thing is the contingency payouts. We talked about all the payouts that are available for people based on your top finishes. I mean, it's just going to continue to get better and better for the anglers competing on this trail.
Absolutely.
I think we've got Austin and Hayden back up. I still they culled so many times yesterday after 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock was really, like you were saying earlier, what we saw their big flurry. It's 8:40 right now. Anything's getting ready to happen for them. If we have a similar repeat of yesterday, the bite definitely picked up later in the day, and several big culls. Really, all their weight came after 9 o'clock. I think that was around then when they caught that 9-pounder.
Yeah. Davion digging in that rod locker of that Ranger boat, looking for the next bait that might be the deal. That's exactly what I figured I'd see too. I believe that was a glide. As I just saw.
A lot of cat and mouse going on right now, trying to trick that fish, or any of the other ones they're going to encounter.
A couple glide baits there. Maybe swapping baits. Big spoon.
Definitely throwing big bait.
Yeah, I was just about to say they're throwing the big stuff, targeting big fish.
They're not fishing for 15 pounds.
No, they are not. He's still having fun.
His social media channels are a lot of fun. When you look at his posts, he's just grinning and having a good time.
Can't believe I only got one bite.
Hey, speaking of a good time.
It's about to get a lot better
The
around
Shipley
here.
guy, Keegan just went and got us Shipley's. So we can have some. We're getting them hand delivered right now. Thank you, Keegan. Look at this. We're getting ready to dive in. I'm good. We might share some with Kevin and Keegan and Eric in a little bit.
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky, I don't know. I'm as happy as Davion. Now Davion might be happier if he catches that 10.
Oh, absolutely.
But right now we're gonna eat good.
Yeah.
3 of them. That one hit me and just
We'll
instantly started
I guess we'll share with you.
Oh boy, he's dying on a big glide bait. Let's hear what Davion's got to say. That's good for your teeth, buddy. My dentist loves me because I probably put his kids through high school, college because of doing that all the time.
Yeah. I'm bad about it myself.
Let me get in there.
Looked like a big crappie shape and colored up glide there. So that's probably what those bigger fish on this bridge are biting.
It'd be easy to get along the side of it and cast,
That's what I would do.
but she gonna go where she want to. And the last thing I want to do is up against one of the
You don't want
ponds.
to see her a whole lot of line. That's another problem.
Like I'd rather hit it, swim out this way, and do this versus I'm that way, and she goes to one of them pilings. It's a wrap.
They're planning on getting that bite. They're sitting there trying to strategize.
Trying to be a good
Once
old
they
break
get that
here.
bite, what's the best way to get her out?
I'm on the break, so.
We may have kolaches and donuts over there, but I can't quit watching this right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I'm waiting to see that 10-pounder.
So
I
slow
love the strategy. I love the mindset.
So don't get down there very
Working
quick.
through
Sorry.
this, trying to figure out the best angle, and you hear Davion. He's even so convinced that he's worried about how to steer the fish if he gets it to bite, and You know, that's an amazing discussion as a team, how they're talking about moving the boat and positioning it.
One in the gauntlet. I'll take a pound dead penalty for a 10. I don't want to lose a fish.
All right. Transducer's messed up. Like, drop it down. You see what I'm saying?
Go back to this one.
It's chipped up.
That's good.
It looks like she's still sitting on that closest island to them right there, about halfway down.
That's fucking weird. Man, fucking weird.
Hit the brake. Phone. These.
For donut, bring them over here.
Yep.
I really think it's going to be cookied.
I think so too, but she's just seen it so many times now.
I'll peg her with this one.
I don't know where she goes. Hold on. Let me. Go ahead, hit her. She's on the front side. Dang, Cole.
What?
I popped her for a second, too. You just pop it. Pop it. Pop it. Right there. Let it fall.
I don't see my baby.
I do. It's falling down right there.
Just let me know when to
Pop it. Pop it. She's not there right now. Or we just got on the bad side of it.
I think I drifted too much down to her. She come out a long ways on this green blanket. That's surprised she didn't eat that sucker.
Because she popped it that first time. But she stays there.
8 foot off the pole.
Yeah. She's still there.
Gosh dang it.
Hold on. Toss a jig on her. Yeah, sure. Let me see. Let me try my 17. Hold on.
I think she's more around like this front right corner.
There's another giant one swimming there.
I see it.
Like mega. I don't even see it. She's definitely on the left of it. Oh my god, I hate casting this thing, but it catches fish.
On the back side, following.
Okay.
Pop it out so you can see it.
Oh my god, do it!
She wants a cookie bad.
I mean, she keeps rolling out on it. We know where she's at. Let's give her a second here. Third column. E on it. That's a giant.
Check these live wells.
Good?
Yeah, I'm gonna put some G juice on her, but she's good.
All right.
What are you putting on there?
Some G juice, just some fish care, helps them stay alive a little bit better.
Okay. Well, if they got something like that hot, that'll work.
Ain't nothing in them deep piles? Maybe. And when they do, it's gonna be a good one. Show me that deal again. That's the one you just looked at?
See what our old friends has to offer.
What's that big son of a gun on top of that second tree? She's creeping around. Even if she ain't big, she's something.
Little one?
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like a little guy. Yeah, a little one. How big was it? 2 pound?
That's where it was. It was in line with the freaking tree.
Should be going.
We did have 30 pounds with a 1 pounder yesterday.
Yeah, that is very true. That's crazy to think. 30 pounds with a 1 pounder?
Not even a 1. It was like
Yeah.
1 right at it.
That's a big one right here. Trying to get a good angle on it. Not big, but yeah, like what kind of color? Looks like it. She's sitting on the. Dang, where'd she go?
That's a bad angle.
I guess the other side was better.
She's sitting on that back corner, it looks like.
I mean, I see one up there.
That sucker said, ha ha. There's a good one right there in between these two pieces of food.
Hot.
Go back. Flip this one. Gosh, man, hit the ground hard. Some big ones out there on like a little ledge.
Yeah.
Like a worm, them.
I really want to.
Huh?
I don't know where that one went. That was right there, but I want to make sure she's gone. She's good.
Freaking sun's refusing to pop on all the way out.
I know.
They setting up decent now, though.
Yeah. She would just come on out.
I see her on the edge of it right there. She's
Yeah,
going
I
out
see
now.
one, yeah. There's one right here. This one is, but I guess I don't see it no more.
I think one tail's wagging right there.
Whoa. Oh my goodness, Cole. Back ass, oh my gosh. Don't back up, don't back
How
up.
does it back? She's going to this pole. Huh?
She's on the next one. Don't lose her.
That's a pass, dog.
Might not be.
I'm gonna hit her one more time.
It don't gotta be.
You can turn us up, Kevin.
I don't think it is, actually. 'Cause I just domed her right there.
The wind is definitely starting to pick up, Justin. We're seeing Austin and Hayden right there after we've taken a little bit of chocolate donut, cream-filled donut, jalapeno kolache break, which was awesome. We got a shout out to Keegan for bringing us some food and everything, and we're going to follow these guys for about 30 more minutes, and then we're going to take a break, move the cameras around, and see what other action we might be able to find. What are you expecting the rest of the day after what we've seen so far this morning?
You know, we're seeing the wind picked up right now, and how these guys effectively caught fish yesterday, the wind was much more slack, and they're utilizing their Garmin Live Scope. And like I mentioned earlier, once that wind gets up, the waves start getting worse. It's much harder to be effective with that Garmin Live Scope. You know, presentation is super. And able to utilize that first opportunity is super important when you start casting on those fish. So it could get a little tougher for the guys that are out there in the middle, really utilizing Garmin Live Scope. So maybe those guys that are up on the bank, fishing more docks, fishing the bridges, somewhere where it's more like a wave break. They can be more effective if they are utilizing Garmin Live Scope. So. I expect the bite to get a little bit better. As that wind picks up, that's generally when the bite starts happening. A little bit wind is really good. Too much wind can be a bad thing. I'm sure you've seen that in the past. But, hopefully as the day progresses, the wind doesn't get too bad for these guys. They're able to move around and make the right adjustments to put more fish in the boat.
Yesterday we saw a lot more fish caught in and around boat docks. We saw a lot of action around boat docks, and we saw a lot of people fishing right on the bank. Today, we've moved coverage a little bit. Davion and Brandon are really committed to the bridge bite, no question about it. Austin and Hayden have been moving around in the same general area where they caught them yesterday, but they've been keeping them honest, for lack of a better word. And I think they're going to definitely run into them in a little bit. They've had a great season, as everybody. This is a championship you have to qualify for. The top 100 earn their way through the points to get here. And they may have only fished a couple of events to 3, and they just knocked it out of the park in those and earned enough, or they may have fought all year long. And the people that fight all year long, they get in that progressive team of the year hunt on the Texas Team Trail, which is an incredible payout. I mean, you're going to see our winners going to take home a boat. They're going to get entry fees into next year covered. They're also going to get some really custom guide wear. And then as you go down deeper into the payout, they're rewarded as well. It's one of the most unique payouts that I've ever seen in team tournament fishing in my life. And then as you break down our regular championship, because as I've said several times, we've got 2 events going all the way through. The payout's going to be really deep. You'll be able to follow the results, watch the live well. Watch the weigh-in this afternoon around 3 o'clock. It'll all be streamed live. And if you got to go do some honeydews, you got to mow the yard, all of this is going to be archived on YouTube. We're going to have it on fast channels. We got a TV episode coming out of this. The Texas Team Trail, through the partnerships with all of its great sponsors, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Ranger, Nitro, Triton, Mercury, Garmin, and the list is really long. Ensure that these anglers and the growth of fishing really gets seen of what's happening out on the water, not only at this event and all the events, and we'll see that as we get deeper into 2027. You had a great event this year fishing with Horse Soldiers, Will Summers, then the part of the Live Legendary deal, and that we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But that had to be a thrill for you.
Man, that was such an exciting tournament to get to fish and share the boat with Will Summers, a true American hero with Horse Soldier Bourbon, and the story of the 12 Strong. There was an actual movie made of that mission, and they were the first boots on the ground in Afghanistan after 9/11. So those guys really paved the way for the other troops that were coming in after them. But we owe everything to those guys, and get to share a boat with him and catch fish and have a really good day on Toledo Bend. We had 23 pounds, came in 18th place, which is a testament to how good Toledo been, right? And the same way here at Palestine, guys are having 23 pounds and they're in 15th place. So it really shows how good these Texas lakes are. But getting to share that boat with Will and him catching some fish and him, able to be a part of this whole Texas Team Trail, not just as a sponsor of the Texas Team Trail, but as a fan of fishing, and he's learned so much. He said he's got to fish with some other great anglers, Chris Aldane, Clark Wendlandt, Rick Klun, legends in the sport, and that just like the live legendary, that the guys that he's got to fish with are legendary.
And all that's been archived in every of the part of the full episodes this year. You'll be able to go watch all those. Another great event we had this week was the Future Legends. That was so fun to watch these kids. We got it up on the screen now. I mean, some of them were so little, the fish were as big as them, all the way to high school. The smiles are amazing right there. They were on East and West Lake Tyler yesterday. A lot of prizes. They all got gift cards. And at the end of the day, you saw them running and getting snow cones as part of everything that was going on here. That was a highlight early in the day.
Yeah, that was really fun, getting to see the smiles on those kids' face as they brought their fish across the stage and they come.
They were like me with my donut a while ago.
No kidding,
I was about
right?
as happy as them.
No kidding. And those trophies were awesome, that the kids that got to win, between the middle school, the high school, and the elementary, different levels. And we even seen an 8+ pounder come from the high school. Is that correct?
That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to see a picture of that, and I seen one, and I'd like to show the fans watching at home, but that was a beautiful fish, and they actually kept that fish, and it's going to go into the tank here behind us at the Bass Pro Shops Tyler. It's got to go through a little bit of a quarantine, section where it just has to make sure everything's good before it goes into the tank and gets acclimated. So you're going to be able to come into the Tyler Bass Pro Shops and see that 8+ pounder caught by a high schooler that won the Future Legends tournament here that we had going on.
Yeah, and that's part of going to all of the Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores. Here behind us of all of our live, we've been able to watch the fish. They've looked over our shoulder, and it's interesting to me when I go look at all the aquariums all over the nation at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. It's one of the biggest draws. You see it everywhere you go, but how the fish are acting. There's times you come in, they're very active, and there's times they're not. Yesterday, while we were doing live, those fish were real active behind us. Today, a lot of them are kind of sitting in the corner, and it's interesting, we're not seeing as many fish caught. So
it's really
as they get more active, we may see everything turn on. Austin and Hayden have made a move. They're back to the docks. We saw them do, both the teams catching fish off in and around docks yesterday. So they may just be trying to work on fishing a limit, or they may be trying to target some big ones. Who knows? But they did say they had a lot of fish in some different areas.
Yeah, it looks like they pulled up these docks, maybe pitching around a drop shot, a shaky head, a jig. That he's still utilizing his forward-facing sonar there at the front, maybe casting at some fish that are in between the docks, and they got a 1-2 punch going right there. He's casting at the next dock before they even get to it. Probably looking for just some limit fillers and hoping that maybe one of those bites that they do get on these docks might be a big one. Because, we saw some big ones get caught on docks, so we know they live there. But that's just a great place to go up, get a bunch of bites where a bunch of fish are going to live, that may be eating on brim or crawfish or even some crappie around those docks. So I expect if we hang out with them a little bit longer, we're going to see that rod bend over before too long.
I do too. There's so much time left in the day, and all it takes is 2 or 3 hook sets. And everybody that's watching at home, they're all kind of glued to this, and whether you're watching it on your phone, you're watching it on your big TV, there's so many different options and opportunities to stream this coverage, and we're excited to do this, and we're going to be expanding on it in 27. You're going to see more cameras on the water, more opportunities to showcase things. We're going to go behind the scenes a little more. We'll be doing some boat breakdowns. There's so many different things that we're looking forward to bringing to fishing fans, because this to me is about having fun, uniting fishermen, sharing good successes, and understanding we're going to have some broken lines and some funny days and moments there. So it's an exciting time to be in fishing. I think if Austin and Hayden could put a few keepers in the boat, they would probably go right on back to what they were doing.
Yeah, it would settle them down a little bit because they seem to be fishing a little bit faster. You know, moving from dock to dock like we're seeing right now, a little bit quicker. So the wheels are spinning right now for those guys.
Yeah, momentum is everything in all sports, as we know, and it's just a matter of getting one or two bites.
That's all it takes. You know, just one bite is random, 2 bites is a pattern. So if they can get a couple bites to really go off of throughout the day, is going to be key for their success.
Almost like right there. I'm sure all these things have been smashed.
Oh, yeah. Smash.
Just gotta figure out how to get 3 or 4 really good bites. Might have to go to that school.
Yeah.
There's a brush pile or something right here. Because remember that one got me in it.
I didn't feel it.
Not neither. We'll go one more time in there. Because I seen 2 on the outside. Not right there. Interesting. Well, oh, it might be good.
What?
Wasn't good, but well, HH
Might be.
might be dynamite.
You can definitely hear Austin and Hayden talking about changes, different
Bait's
patterns,
so
what the
active.
fish may be doing. And that's part of team tournament fishing, and it's part of any kind of tournament fishing, is deciding where to go. It looks like Brandon and Davian are right on the edge of the bridge, so we're drifting in and out of coverage there, but they're staying true to their pattern.
Hit this one and then you want to slide out there and leave that point, or go
It's
deep
going to be an
docks
awesome
and that
TV
round?
show once
We're
it
gonna roll
comes
on
out.
that
You
stool.
know,
They roll on that
we
stool.
haven't seen them as many of the big fish caught online, but we've had cameras. So, but they're going to be on the TV show once it gets edited and it's going to be aired. So it's going to be all the Texas Team Trail episodes are great when they hit, but this one might be one of the best ones because of all the big fish.
Yeah, that's a big one. We're going to be moving around our live camera boxes here in shortly. The plan is we've got some trackers and some insight on where some of the other teams are at. We're gonna go down deep into the team of the year stand-ins, pick up some action with Drake and those guys that are, there's only 4 or 5 places, separating them. We're also going to try to find some of the other teams that whacked 30 pounds and see how their day is going. Then we'll come back to the teams we're with right now around midday if everything goes as scheduled. Say they were going to fish this dock and move one more, move to a different one. I think this is what a lot of people talked about at registration, that would this lake hold up 2 days in a row? And there's no doubt in my mind some of these teams already are in the upper 20s. There's too many of them that caught them. So it'd be interesting. I don't know if we'll see 5 bags over 30 today. I think we'll still see a couple, but it certainly seems to have gotten a little tougher.
For sure.
You even heard Hayden make a comment to Austin about some of the fish maybe got picked off that dock.
Right.
So they obviously shook some off in practice there.
Like I mentioned earlier, when you want fish, individual fish on individual structures, and you catch those fish there, either practice or the tournament, you can't recreate that. You're not going to be able to come back and catch that same exact fish on the same structure. You got to hope that one pulls in there after that fish on that structure, or you just have to go find some new ones in altogether.
I'm gonna check these fish out right quick. They're a little alive.
Well, it looks like Austin and Evan are making another move. They're hitting high percentage spots as their strategy, you can tell, and that's part of tournament fishing. I think what we're going to do is, we said we're going to move some of the camera teams around and try to pick up some coverage in some other locations, and then we will come back as we get them situated and they can find some of just boats. This isn't a giant lake. It's only 25,000 acres, and it was interesting to talk to the camera teams and the social teams about the boats that they were seeing. A lot of them are rotating through the same water, and that happens a lot.
Yeah, it really does, especially on a lake of this size, and how these guys are catching these fish, either on docks or brush piles. There's only so many out there, and these guys are so good that they find the same exact stuff. We see it on the pro trails all the time. As good, we're such good anglers, and we think similarly we're going to find the same exact stuff. So they're rotating through, trying to find some new stuff that hasn't got hit yet. Even in the bag line yesterday when I was talking to Evan, he mentioned that they had a big one on something, it was a brush pile or a stump, he didn't specify. But after they left, they didn't move too far, and a boat came in there, shut down on that same exact spot, and they were worried that boat might have caught that fish because they came back later and that fish was gone. So, guys are running into that, running into used water. Fish are getting caught off places that they've already had marked. So it's going to be interesting to see how things happen.
Yeah, no, it'll be really good. We will be back with more live coverage here shortly. Be sure and follow along on all the social media pages. Look on the website, TxTT.com. We're going to get back on the water action in just a little bit. And don't forget, the weigh-in is going to be live here from the Tyler Bass Pro Shop store. You can come out if you're in the local area. You'll be able to watch it online. Justin Cooper and I are going to be back here, and we're hoping to see some more of those 9-pounders that we saw yesterday. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more from the Texas Team Trail Championship here on Lake Palestine.